City fans, so we wait with anticipation to see what they can come up with in this second half as the live ladder stands right now. They're 4 points clear at the top. Open up the gap on Sydney FC to 35 to Sydney FC's 31, with the Mariners also on 31. Sydney FC +5 goal difference better than the Mariners. Yeah, it's a handy little cushion, and even after tonight, they'll have a game in hand. Those sides below them, perhaps Adelaide United can put a bit more pressure on them. They themselves have got a bit of a quandary tomorrow night, taking on Western United. Western United starting a run of away games, which won't faze them whatsoever. We hear from Paddy Kisnorbo before this second half gets underway. As the man credited with the goal, Andrew Naboot. Looking forward to more of the same in this second half. Let's get to Patrick Kisnorbo, who joins us right now ahead of the second half. Paddy, what do you like the most about your side in that first half?
I thought the way we controlled the game was really good. I think at times we forced the ball too much, but over the 45 minutes, I thought we could control the game, and especially pressure to keep the ball in their third.
Hey, Paddy, when you come up against a team that's struggling, bottom of the table, haven't won for a while, is it a point for you as a coach to encourage, insist on your players to maintain their standards and not drop to the level of a team at times that has been demonstrably struggling over recent weeks?
Yeah, look, I think regardless of where we both sit on the table, which we pay no attention to, it's about keeping our processes and standards no matter who we play against. So it's the same tonight.
Paddy, thanks for your time, mate. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Driver of high standards, Patrick Kisnorbo. So what can the Jets throw at City here? That's the big question ahead of this second half, because if it's more of the same, he dare say City will go along and pick up 3 points. The Jets can just rattle them somewhat. Rattle their cage, if you like, Harps. One way or another. Could have one of the upsets of the season in their hands as Thurgate looks to start things for the Jets and bring in Ewell, who's the fourth one to go down for the Jets on the stat count for the slippery feet. Ewell, probably Newcastle's best player in that first half. Maloney gets things going for City. Noon. O'Neill, I'm told it's 5. Slippery heel Jets. Naboot trying to pick out the run of Maclaren. Well marshalled by Topol Stanley, who is very aware of that little tactic from City, and Trombus has been good as well tonight. The diagonal ball from about 25 out. They're dropping nice and deep, almost in line with their goalkeeper.
Yeah, that one was pretty low percentage, though, from Andrew Naboot. The angle of execution and the flight of the ball was always going to favour the defenders, but it is a play that Melbourne City used to great effect.
Snorbo pretty happy with that work off the ball from his side to win it back and present an opportunity for Naboot, who was caught on the way through from Hoffman. Stephen Lucas is A-OK with it. They're going to go out. Topol Stanley's happy to play on. Crucio. Ball and leg.
Yeah, no, totally clean from Jace Hoffman. And Andrew Naboot thankfully up. There was no hysterics from his teammates to ask the Newcastle team to kick the ball out, so they all saw the same thing as we.
O'Neill. Couldn't have hit that any straighter, that ball from one side to the other. Craig Noon. Right along the halfway line. Naboot. One-on-one with Hoffman. Ugarkovic thinking about helping out outside of the boot, which has worked out okay on a couple of occasions for Andrew in the A-League. Jamieson looking to play for a corner there. Crucio winning an important header. Good, winning a more important header, and maybe falling to Maclaren, not quite. Curtis Good looks okay, despite the hamstring stretches of the first half, which worried us all. That would indicate that everything's okay.
Yeah, that's a good sign. The touch wasn't as assured as normal. And away they come, Melbourne City again. Some free paddock in which to play.
Nice and deep. It's Galloway who's in a more advanced position on that right-hand side. Instead, they elect to come left through Good and Naboot. Griffiths looking for Galloway. It's a great ball. Galloway does really well to get back on his left. Here's Luna. Jumps it back. Galloway can have a go here. He's surrounded pretty quickly. Ugarkovic does well. No, illegally, in fact. Looked to have won the ball pretty cleanly, but Stephen Lucas has given away the foul. Given the foul, I should say.
I was going to say.
He didn't make the tackle.
The referee complicit. I thought it was a bit of a surprising decision. Live speed. A little touch there. That's what he's pinged him for.
Fair enough.
That's great. Great refereeing. Great pickup from Steve Lucas.
That's why he's got the whistle and we don't.
I completely understand why the Jets appealed against it, because it was the faintest of touches, but he saw that it was enough of a touch to knock the City player off his balance. Fair enough from the ref.
It was a free kick in the first half where the Jets wall jumped. Craig Noon went to go under the wall and didn't quite catch it. So what he does here is Maclaren going to take it and take his chances, trying to go around and perhaps over Angus Thurgate, who's at the end of the wall. It is Maclaren, and on it skids off the head of one of the players in that wall. I think Lockie Jackson. That was close.
Well, importantly for Newcastle, the wall has worked twice. Once in the first half. And just now to see the ball away for the corner. Still more work to do.
Noon. His ball doesn't get beyond top or Stanley. Jamieson does well to contort. All in the direction of Noon. Start line there, Adrian Luna. Eventually he gets it. A couple of forward runners. Instead, Noon, direct cross, looking for Griffiths. Still alive there, but Italiano jumps over Roston, who's not short by any stretch of the imagination. Does well, the Jets keeper. Just on that wall, always befuddled. Why? Because that direction from Maclaren was the best option over the last man on the wall, but that was the shortest player in the wall, Angus Thurgate. So it's almost giving the player a target. Whereas the tall players were standing in front of the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You don't comprehend.
Well, it worked.
That's the key factor.
However, the bricks were put in place.
That's some commanding defending from Griffiths, and Stamatolopoulos was just almost like a bystander. That one with Roston jumping all over him, and didn't have any part to play in trying to bring the ball down. Lost, but wins the free kick. Topor Stanley takes it quickly out to Miller. Wires crossed with Hoffman, and away goes Naboot. Racing down this left-hand side. And inexplicably standing on the ball. Quick reaction, though, from City. What are you noticing early doors in this second half, Archie Thompson?
Well, look, I think with Craig Deans, it's a little bit frustrating that his team just can't seem to kick the ball at the moment. With Melbourne City, again, they started brightly, but just losing that little bit of cohesion. But I think for Jets, I'd just like to see them maybe play a few balls over the back, because once they start to play little balls in and around their sort of middle and defensive line, that's where City can pinch the ball.
It's a lovely ball from Curtis Good to Galloway. Point that down for Maclaren. Taking it on himself there. Galloway decided not to. Luna. Back to Archie's point in the moment. Perhaps when Newcastle get back in possession, we'll see this one out for City with Good and Jamieson. Metcalf battles and wins back the ball. Lovely turn. Metcalf looking for a fast stick. Italiano was going that way. Do you agree with Archie there, Huffs, about the Jets get it and just try and stretch out what City are doing in terms of pressing?
Yeah, I mean, why not have a go? I've obviously enjoyed listening to Archie's summation. So yeah, and a great desperation there from Angus Thurgood. I think that's what they need more of. You know, I've mentioned one NSL coach in the broadcast, the telecast tonight, Lee Sterrett. Terrific job he did, enormous respect. One of the most respected coaches in the NSL was Zoran Madic at Adelaide City. He had a great saying.
Griffiths goes over the top. Ugarkovic covers the run of Luna. Goes back to Metcalf. I'm looking forward to this Zoran Madic line. There were some beauties that I've heard over the time, but hear it in a second. The boot perhaps offside.
And he'd refer to a lack of application in defence, one-on-one jobs, closing down, making errors or whatever, as alibi defending. And I'm seeing a lot of alibi defending from the Jets at the moment. And people who are in space, you can't get me, sir. I'm here where I'm supposed to be. But it's like a work to rule. There's nothing more. There's no putting your body, your weight in. There's no harassing of defenders. Attackers. They're just very happy to be sort of in the postcode and sort of blocking a passing lane, but they haven't got the confidence. I'll put it down to confidence to actually...
Here's Miller, drops to him, tries to get it back on his preferred right foot. Griffiths covers well, but that was a bit of inventive play from firstly Yule and then Prusho to open up that half chance for the Jets.
You know, to mount serious one-on-one challenges when your team doesn't have the ball.
Alibi defending. Good one, actually. Wasn't he also known to say when he was seeing too much of something he didn't like, substitute, please? The fourth official, maybe not please sometimes as well.
Oh.
It was a hard... All the stories you hear from the big males and the like, he drove a hard bargain.
We don't want to go completely down memory lane, but he was famous for taking a player off of his own volition once he'd already emptied his subs bench. A guy who'd not taken an instruction, so he decided, what, we'll play for 10 with the last 15 minutes. Just an outstanding practitioner, Zoran Madic, a man of his time, and had great times.
And a principle by the sounds of it as well. And Yule again goes to ground. He's asking for a corner, pleading with the corner, and getting a corner.
Well, unsurprising that it's Valentino Yule who slipped again, but he's come up with something for his team.
Ugarkovic with the corner. It's right on Glover, who couldn't get to the ball. He was blocked off by a couple of Jets bystanders, and Topol Stanley saying, well, it was actually City players who were getting in the way as much.
That was a hard one to
Jets players
discern, actually. Ugarkovic swings in a nice corner here. Pretty hard to see what came from what, but Lucas, the referee, pounced, made the call.
Characteristics about this particular contest similar to the one on Tuesday night with Sydney. Expected to win, in control for the most part, certainly dominating possession. And Melbourne victory, the team just in the contest, but not quite creating as much as the opposition, certainly not feeling as full of themselves as they once were. And this one, Melbourne victory caused the odd problem for Sydney. Couldn't get anything out of the game on Tuesday. See if the Jets can go one better here.
Well, Archie's very rightly touched on that point already. You know, you can dominate and be really in cruise control as much as you like, but one error and the team from which not much is expected can bounce up and score.
Jamieson with his right foot, Scotty Jamieson! He's waited a while with this badge on his chest, but in his 86th appearance for Melbourne City, he's finally got a goal, and if you don't mind, it's with his right foot.
Well, Scotty Shaw doesn't mind. But he knocks the ball past Luca Prusso, who can't go with him. But if that's, I mean, what's that defensively? What's that as a finish? Well done, Scott Jamieson. Right boot curling away from Italiano in the goal. Too clear. Space to utilise. And the skipper does just that.
That is remarkable. Statistically and physically with his right foot. Scott Jamieson, who is one of those left footers that, okay, he can pass the ball with his right foot, but given the choice 100 times, 99 times, he's going to choose the left foot to kick it with. Coming up with that finish to make it 2-0 and put that much-needed buffer between themselves and the Jets here at Amy Park, chasing more success on their home turf. City chasing a 4-point lead at the top of the ladder. Craig Deans has seen enough. Abbas looks like he's being readied for action. Archie Thompson, just watch this from Connor Metcalf looking for Jamie Maclaren. But Archie, I'm a little stunned about, with all due respect to Scott Jamieson, what I've just seen with his right foot. What say you?
Well, look, I think it's been coming. I have to say, we talk a lot about Andrew Naboot, Craig Noon, Connor Metcalf, but I actually believe that Scott Jamieson's probably having one of the best seasons in a really long time, and because he gives that drive out of the defence, energy, gives that discipline from a leadership point of view. And, you know, for me, that defending from Prusso, that was too simple. I mean, you play a 1-2 there, and you call, at least try to make a foul so he doesn't get in a position like that. But that doesn't take away from the strike. I thought that was right behind it on the sideline here. It looked like it was actually going wide and just bent in last minute. But Scott Jamieson, he just gets better with age, I think. He's been outstanding for Melbourne City.
Sure has. Here's Craig Noon. Trouble for the Jets. Italiano was going one way and kept his foot there, thankfully for his sake.
Well, he didn't hit that at all well, Craig Noon, did he? Scuffed his shot. It's quite easy in the end. So was the picking of the pocket by the City midfield of Stevie Ugarkovic. And away goes Craig Noon, plenty of space. I think most people were expecting him to leather that one, and he mishit it completely.
At least Craig Deans is holding himself to his own standards. He's obviously not real happy with Luca Prusso. He's going to be the man to make way. Corner for City, headed away by Jackson, only as far as Jamieson and Galloway. Out to Noon again. Plenty of space for Luna here. Won't get the pass right, but Ugarkovic takes no chances. Yeah, Luca Prusso is going to be the man to make way for Ali Abbas. Noticed here with Andy Harper and Archie Thompson, and it appears Daniel McBreen sitting next to Craig Deans on the Jets bench. Noon. Or Stanley away. Prusso copying some advice from his teammates now. Oh, what about that ball from first time from Naboot? Struck it nicely, but only into a Jet. The attempt was to run away, but it didn't quite get the pass right. That's a neat looking ball. Trumbus does well, does very well to not give away a corner. Stantilopoulos keeps it in. Prusso doesn't. So first change of the evening, looking for a show this way, and the Abbas, the veteran, who's returned to the Jets this season, after starting his A-League career with the Jets all those years ago. Formative years of the A-League. Jamieson's right foot that time wasn't quite on key. Sing moments ago, and that was massive for City. That 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline in football. I'd probably not apply that to this particular situation, given that City have been in control of possession so far. Jets win a corner, so a moment of hope here, perhaps, and Curtis Good saying that's the second time, Stephen, that you've given something that wasn't there, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, let's see how well Melbourne City can adjust to concentrating.
His first touch is a really good corner. Glover and Ewell just clattered into each other. Tommy Glover's not feeling too hot at the moment. He's calling elbow. Good ball from Haley. No malice there from Ewell.
No, he's
to
just
leverage himself.
He's just trying to get himself into a situation where he can challenge the ball. I mean, that was fair from both players.
Jackson looking for options. To Stanitolopoulos. He's going to do well to get anything out of that contest with Griffiths, but it falls for Abbas. Nowhere to go for Topor Stanley, but back. Trombus. Searching for an option, scanning everything. Eventually he picks out Jackson. It's a good option too. A bit of space out there. Lockie, he's got 2 options, 3 options almost, if you count Ewell as well. Falls to Thurgate. Deflection corner.
A bad touch from Thurgate as it came through to set it up. A good touch, he can shoot more directly, or he can draw the defender and release Matt Miller. But the poor control really took the options away from him.
How did they end up with so many options there? Just like that. Not just, it's like the top of the pressure cooker coming off. Not that the pressure cooker lid was on for long, but anyway, it goes on for City. Naboot quickly from one end to the other. The sky blue of Melbourne falling to Jamieson in control to O'Neill. Noon looking for a forward run in the box. First it was Luna, then it was Maclaren, decided to go neither. Back with O'Neill. Griffiths. For all the star power that Melbourne City have got, the fact that Austin Griffiths, when he's not there, they won 1 point out of a possible 12. Melbourne City says a bit about his influence on a game, a steadying influence. O'Neill. Metcalf. Left foot, but instead gave it to the left foot of Craig Noon. Cuts back into traffic, peak hour traffic as well. Jamieson cut one side. Does he have another go with his right? Tries luck again. Quite get that right. Adrian Luna. Metcalf. Spot the attention of Hoffman, so they stay in possession here, City. Dangerous possession as well, potentially. Naboot. Ooh. A rocket. Right over the 18-yard box. So Craig Noon makes way, and Marco Tilio, Archie Thompson. What do you make of this kid? You'd imagine with Andrew Naboot looking likely to be involved with Socceroos, Tilio has got a massive role to play with Melbourne City in the back end of the season.
Yeah, he certainly has, and the impact he makes when he has had his bit of game time has been outstanding. He's won games, he's put their team back into games, and that's what you want. You want your young players to have that impact. Okay, he's had to bide his time, but that's what all youngsters have to do. You know, when you look at that starting 11 of Melbourne City and the way that they play games and win games, it's very hard to put anyone in any side, especially this Melbourne City team. But one thing that I'm really noticing too is that even when the ball does break for Newcastle, the discipline and alertness of the back four, we talk about Curtis Good, Roston Griffith, they're just so focused. And I wonder if that's something that's been implemented from obviously Paddy Gusnorbo's playing time, being an ex-defender, especially in that central defence. It's just the focus, even when they don't have the ball, but just the knowledge that maybe they might break, I need to be in a position, is pretty outstanding.
Yeah, good point, Archie. I actually noticed it a little bit last season as well with Mombert, who wanted his players to let this go on. Italiano started on his line to boot, chasing it. Maclaren back scoring again, and that's 99 A-League goals for the number 9. And he's 20th of the season already.
Yeah, Andrew Naboot hasn't had a great deal of joy in these foot races, but it's a pretty set attack. Not a lot of resistance. Lockie Jackson pumping as hard as he can, but the setup was poor to begin with from Newcastle, and you can't do that against a team in this form with this striker. 99. He's on Bradman's average, and his team is looking very good.
We think offside check going on at the moment, but let's not spoil the moment just yet. We'll let VAR do that if they're going to do it. But look at that, 20 goals in this. It's 18th game of the season. Fastest to 20 before tonight was Bobo. Check clear. Confirm it. From pencil to pen. Jamie Maclaren. Big marker pen as well. 20 goals and highlighted. It's the fastest anyone has got to 20 goals in A-League history. And he now equals Bruno Fornaroli's club record of 48 goals for Melbourne City. Maclaren doing it in this his 52nd game. Fornaroli took 70. It is an extraordinary record. Miller. Jackson. Chance here for the Jets. Goes to Yule. Didn't really get anything on the header, but just floated into the path of Glover. As we've seen with Melbourne City this season, what was Tom Glover's first save of the game, by the way? As we've seen with Melbourne City this season, when they've got a team on the hook, they do not let up. Do not let up one bit.
Well, there's a lot of teams in the history of football who've built championship success on that sort of mentality. And let's see if they can enact it here this evening. There's every sign that if they want to, it's there for them.
Archie Thompson, you were there one of the nights where they did a number on one opposition, and Paddy Kisnorbo was jumping up and down like they were 1-0 down in the 90th minute. In the 90th minute of that one, that the standards are so high. I'll just hold that thought for a minute. Good, that comes to nothing. You can go for it off the back of that thought, Archie. What was that game again that Paddy was unhappy with the finish to the game?
I think it might have actually been the Sydney game where they were leading 3-0 and let Sydney in.
Luna just caught off the ball. He's perhaps hurt his knee, but go on, Arch.
Yeah, well, I think that was the Sydney game where they let Sydney back into the match, where they were so dominant, and that's when he was really, really disappointed in his team's performance, because they were outstanding for that 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and then they just didn't put the foot on the pedal or on the gas to finish that game off. And ever since then, I've just seen the way that they finish matches. They're just relentless, and that's what's so exciting, and it's a joy to watch, because it doesn't just start from Tommy Glover, because I was looking at Paddy Kisnorbo, and this was a game against Melbourne Victory where they were almost 5 or 6-0 up, and he was still screaming out to Tommy Glover, focus, focus. And you can see it just through the defence, through the midfield, and even from the attacking point of view. We talk about Jamie Maclaren. He's, you know, having a slow night, but he still wants to have that impact and being in a position where he can score goals. It's an exciting team. It's probably one of the best Melbourne City teams I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's good to watch as well. That level of standard, Andy Harper.
Yeah, but look at this, defending. On the ball, no pressure. And when there's no pressure on the ball, the defence shouldn't be that flat because you just get picked off, which Melbourne City did.
Good in the way of Miller's attempted cross. Surprising substitution as well. To second guess the Newcastle Jets coaching staff, who might know the physical loads of the particular player in question. But Valentino Ewell, just me, Harps, or has he been one of the best, if not the best, Jets player tonight?
Well, to me, I mean, I'm watching what you're watching. He's been the only player who's done anything to cause Melbourne City any trouble at all. So, like you say, there might be some issues behind the scenes about loading or a niggle or something. What stops us actually confidently prosecuting that case is he gets substituted most weeks.
It's Andrew DeBoot's goal, which caught the deflection, but it's credited to him, and his night is done. Stefan Kolakowski is an exciting young winger as well. He comes on, and Colin Berenguer is on for Connor Metcalf. Just on Connor Metcalf, mentioned before, he's a Newcastle boy, moved down to Melbourne as a kid, joined up with, he was identified early by Melbourne City in the NTC down in Victoria. I read with interest about his progress reporting. He caught the eye of a Newcastle Herald reporter as an under-13s player, Connor, and he was described as a pint-sized midfielder. I don't think he'll ever get accused of that particular physical attribute ever again.
Well, pints can be upgraded to schooners.
He's a vat now. We'll go.
He's a fine player.
Go over to the wine industry, but yeah, he's a fine player, and he gets an early rest tonight. He's got bigger things to come back into this season, so because Norway giving minutes to players that need minutes, perhaps on the periphery of the starting 11. That's how good City are going at the moment. A player of the ilk of Colin Berenguer is on the periphery.
A more pressing question for Newcastle is why the City, Newcastle, the Hunter region, and northern New South Wales in general is not producing, with all its heritage and players, more Connor Metcalfs.
Jackson to take on Kolakowski. Instead goes back to Leonis. Moragas, the new player on the scene for the Jets. Good booming here. They're away from trouble, and Maclaren is the first to react. Well, it's a good point, Harps, because I've seen the Newcastle Jets Academy teams play under 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s, and it's not like the talent's not there. I'm not sure what's happening when it gets to the end of the production line in the factory, but it's an odd one. It's not like there's a stack of kids on the bench tonight as well, some of the kids that we've seen so far this season. So, anyway, something to ponder for the Jets going forward about what they want to be as a club in terms of developing their own. Develop a situation where they don't get a number done on them in this particular game. Here's a chance, Tilio. Smart move into Kolakowski. He couldn't quite get his body shape in the right spot because he had the chance if he could turn to get a shot on target from about 3 yards out. Kolakowski. Griffiths. Total control. 15 minutes to go in this one. Melbourne City up to 35 points with a victory. Plus 23 goal difference at the moment as well, which is light years ahead of anyone else in the league. Tilio. That's the 7th slip of the evening. This one, the first one for the referee. Galloway. Tight areas here for City to operate in. O'Neill to where even the seagulls aren't here at Amy Park. Berenguer, fast feet, out to Tilio. Always moving, Marco Tilio off the ball. Luna looking for Maclaren, looking for the 100.
Yeah, that's just where it's basically not worked for Melbourne City tonight. They've been able to move the ball around the penalty area of Newcastle Jets and pretty much do it without being under any pressure. But the last pass, the last combination, exchange, the 1-2, the slide ball hasn't quite worked. I guess that's something for which Newcastle should be grateful.
So Jamie, it won't be the 100 tonight. He's on 99. Not out 99. He's going to have to sleep on that until City's next game, which is away to Perth. That'll be a nice little bit of symmetry. If he got it in the place where he played his first A-League football, Jamie Maclaren. But on 48 for City and 99 in the A-League, he's on the cusp of becoming the fastest ever player in Australian club football history to score 100 goals at the top level. I'm talking about could have been done at AL6 or somewhere around the place. I'm sure it has been done, but not at this level. What a striker in form. Galloway takes out the microphone. Tsubaki is on. Started brightly enough. Naoki Tsubaki heavily involved, but this appearance here breaks a run of 5 straight unused substitute appearances.
Yeah, we're expecting to see a lot of him this year. He hasn't been able to crack the competition, really. Team's going well. He hasn't been able to, from the start of the season, command enough game time to cement a place. So he's been consigned to these bits and pieces contributions.
As the Jets make a substitution, we're going to get down to a man who's having a rest now. Archie Thompson standing by with Andrew Naboot.
Andrew, another performance from you, outstanding, mate, and you got yourself a goal.
Yeah, I mean, it was good from us. You know, we were a little bit frustrated in the first half. We knew they were going to drop deep, and you know, I just told Macca to stay patient, and we'll get a goal each, and it ended up happening. So
and again, that beautiful, powerful run that we're used to seeing this year, mate. Lockie Jackson seemed to keep up with you, especially in that first half. But again, that beautiful run, mate.
Yeah, I mean, Lockie's pretty quick. You know, he's quicker than people give him credit for. So I knew come second half we'd run over the top of him with our fitness, and you know, it's showing now.
And I just want to ask you about teams. You've played with a few teams now. Where does this one rank for you?
This is where I've definitely felt most comfortable. They've got my body the best condition that it's been in a while. So yeah, definitely up there.
Okay, thanks, Andy.
Thanks, mate.
And that's saying something, son of a bodybuilder. Andrew Naboot. Never been a player you could accuse of not being in shape. Really, his third gates, deflection, Glover hoping, praying it went over, and it did.
Nice ball through the midfield. Ali Abbas received it in a really good position and threaded a nice pass into the attack.
This is corner, but Jets looking to make something happening. It's the week of the 3-year anniversary where these two clubs played against each other for the right to get in a grand final. The Riley McGree game. A bit of sliding doors about that one as well. Andrew Naboot left the Jets that season to go to Japan, opened up a spot. Riley McGree comes in. So if Andrew Naboot didn't take the deal in Japan, no Scorpion kick. By the by, the fact that 3 years ago today, Newcastle Jets are at training there in Newcastle, preparing for a grand final. And now they find themselves in the position that they're in as a football club. Hopefully they can find themselves out of it before too long, but it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of good decisions at the right time from the right people. Because it's there, we've seen it. You've seen it, Harps, time and time again. It's a supporter base that is happy to sit there and be entertained and then eventually get the reward, as they did with that grand final appearance. Kolakowski, they're a loyal bunch in Newcastle. They get a bit more out of their team.
Well, their patience and their loyalty is not inexhaustible, Adam.
Tilio just zooms by Ugarkovic. Berenguer, Tsubaki. That was a great challenge. Last ditch from Lockie Jackson.
He's done a good job tonight, Lockie Jackson, in a team which has barely laid a glove on Melbourne City. He did get out pointed for the Maclaren goal, but he came in nicely there, as he did in the first half. In a very similar set of circumstances to clear the danger.
O'Neill. Forward, no option. Goes back to Galloway, who just takes off. Ragas caught on his tail. Games to come. Melbourne City, Perth away, and then 4 straight at this ground in this form. As it stands right now, as Kolakowski gives away the foul on Miller. It's extraordinary record in their last 5 games just in isolation. It's 19-4-1 against Melbourne City. His first ever Premier's plate. He's looking pretty good. Far from it. And if you said that to Patrick Kuznorbo, just look at you and walk away with a blank stare. But a lot of hard work to go in. But gee, they're looking better and better by the minute, Melbourne City. Desperate act from Hayden O'Neill, little deflection into the path of Griffiths, and they've got the opportunity to go forward again. Melbourne City in Hunter fourth. Berenguer, he's looked lively since he's come on, trying to impress for more minutes. Tilio. Hoffman stopping him, showing him outside. Back to O'Neill. Cruise mode at the moment. Melbourne City just knocking the ball around with a fair bit of ease. Scott Jamieson. I'll give it 12 minutes after he gets back his phone for him to post that goal that he scored. Miller, well done, front foot. Now an opportunity for the Jets. Chooses Ugarkovic, and Ugarkovic gets one for the Jets. City will be filthy about that one. Costa Petratos is after the ball to run it back to halfway. 3-1.
Well, they paid the price. Melbourne City, the cruise mode ended up hurting them. Curtis Good came to try and snuff it out, couldn't. Matt Miller straightens the attack and finds a pass to the supporting midfield run of Steve Ugarkovic. Very tidy under the approaching keeper, Tom Glover, from Ugarkovic to make it 3-1, and some semblance of respectability on the scoreboard, if not in the contest in general.
Just the second goal in 450 minutes of football here at Amy Park that Melbourne City have played as the home team. Foul off the ball there. Hayden O'Neill copping one. Stevie Ugarkovic with his second goal of the season. Actually went 4th most appearances for Newcastle Jets in the A-League era tonight. This appearance, even though the fact that the rumour about Western Sydney was pretty hot in the midpoint of the season, doesn't look like that's...
No, it wasn't a rumour.
Was that?
It was dead set on, but they couldn't come up with a deal. It suited Newcastle, or haven't up to this point.
Wanderers need some players. Here's Berenguer. Big enough squad. Here's Tilio, dragged back by Hoffman. It was outside first, then inside, penalty in the eyes of Stephen Lucas. He pointed for free kick, changed his mind midstream, mid-whistle. I'll have a look at it. But as it stands right now, it's the chance for 4-1 from the spot for City.
Tilio, very clever use of the body. There's the contact. With yanking back, it's not where it starts, it's where it's finished. If that was a trip, the initial contact would have been the important thing. This is where it starts, so I'm not sure if the cameras will have the drone view above.
No drone out tonight.
No.
The Seagulls, they take it out. They're setting up. The Jets are pretty confident, and Lucas, well, he's had 5 each way there, Stevie Lucas, hasn't he? He's called it.
Well, he sort of pointed, didn't he? Like,
yeah,
sort of halfway between the penalty spot and the free kick spot.
Yeah, VAR, help me. Check complete. So his initial adjudication was correct. Free kick, not penalty. So we take it all back. Still a big chance here for Melbourne City. Italiano having to be on his game, on his toes. Little manoeuvre here with Tilio. Italiano didn't need to move much. With that, is it where the contact ends with where the contact is?
The foul
or is
contact.
it the feet?
If it's a shirt pull or that sort of upper body intrusion, it's where it ends. If that was like a trip, my understanding is it's where the initial trip took place. But if you start yanking a guy's shirt outside the box, that's the start of the foul. But you're still yanking the shirt when you're inside the box, it'll be a penalty.
Well, the Hoff timed it well then.
Yeah.
Very well.
Well, the point is, we're not to know, because I don't think we have a... Do we have a camera angle that would go up the field, as it were, up that line of the penalty box to make an adjudication?
Not this one, but Stephen Lucas was right in line with it.
Well, mate, go with the ref's call. I'm happy for that.
So, corner, perhaps back, another one back here. A big chance, and there's a bit of an inquisition there. Led by Tom Glover. 3-2 for the last 4 minutes.
Oh, I mean, how ridiculous would that be? I mean, this is the sort of the sort of latent sloppiness that has been Melbourne City tonight. It's too harsh to say they've been sloppy, but they haven't been at their slick best. And this is the sort of trouble into which you can run.
Last night, you wonder what Warren Moon said to his team after the game when they were 2-0 up, in control against 10 men. But for about half an hour then, it was like Central Coast had 14 players on the pitch. And, OK, Jamie Young didn't have any worldies to stop or come up with. But how do you get across to your side that for a portion of a 4-0 win, it wasn't good enough in his eyes? He was really frustrated. And maybe his Norbo might pick the eyes out of a few of these instances where Newcastle Jets perhaps could have made it a lot tighter than it needed to be.
Yeah, well, Brisbane were struggling last night, even with the lead against the Mariners, who just lacked a cutting edge. Melbourne City haven't been struggling tonight. But it could be a pretty hectic finish if they have come up with one more slip.
So Bucky around to Kulikowski. Stanley does well. The Jets, for their part, their next games are at home. Sydney, Central Coast. Tough assignments. The spoon is theirs at the moment. If they don't improve, surely that's motivation enough. In front of their home fans against two big rivals. Free kick here for City. And there's the next few games. They've got another one against Melbourne City to come as well. So a horror run of fixtures. We saw Brisbane on that list too. Luna over it. Again, making a late claim. Trying to figure out where exactly is he trying to land this one. Adrian Luna goes for goal. Good save in the end from Italiano. Difficult little area, bounced just in front of him. Palmed it to safety. Hoffman stops the backing. Luna keeps it in. Costa Petrados is there helping out. As well, Costa. Yabas, Flick and Miller puts the bomb up. How neat was that from Tillian off his thigh to bring it down into the path of Galloway. The 30 seconds left here. City, another 3 points, another step towards the maiden premiership as a football club. Grand finalists of last season. Got themselves into the Asian Champions League, building slowly, hunting for a fourth here as well. Berenguer. Luna. A good performance and a big 3 points for Melbourne City. A club and a team going in the right direction, and that man one short of 100 after scoring the third goal for Melbourne City. Jamie Maclaren on the score sheet again. Scott Jamieson for the first time in his City career, which has lasted now 86 games on the score sheet, and Andrew Nabu credited with the first. And in the end, a comfortable, it could have been more, but wasn't, win over Newcastle Jets. Full time at Amy Park. City on top by 4 points now. They've beaten Newcastle Jets 3-1. Well, going into this one, Harps, they're favourites for the Premier's plate, coming out of it as well. You've seen nothing to suggest that has diminished that particular train of thought at all.
There was nothing in that 90 minutes that tested Melbourne City in any sense. So we don't know anything more about them, except that the juggernaut rolls on and they pick up another 3 points. Newcastle barely laid a glove on them. They got a goal, consolation no more, from Steve Ugarkovic, and well taken by Stevie Ugarkovic. But nothing learned out of that from Melbourne City, except this.